Old Folks Laugh by Maya Angelou. The poem begins with a description of how polite people may laugh or not. They simper, which is a poor imitation of a laugh, a silly smile that contains no emotion. People tend to try to control their mouths and even frown in an effort not to laugh properly, or perhaps in a way that is genuine but socially unacceptable. They have spent their content of simpering, holding their lips this and that way, winding the lines between their brows. Old folks allow their bellies to jiggle like slow tambourines. In contrast, Angelo describes how old folks allow themselves to become completely involved in laughing. The simile in lines 7 to 8 compares the way their stomachs shake to the rattle of a tambourine, an instrument that produces an erratic sound based on the amount of energy put into shaking it. The phrase belly laugh comes to mind when one laughs from the stomach. It is a deep-seated, genuine expression of an intense emotion. Lines 1 to 12 describes how they laugh, unconcerned about their physical appearance, and have a sense of freedom. They have stopped complaining and frowning and laugh quite spontaneously instead about what their bodies do. In line 9, Angelo refers to the hollers, loud cries that are made without any inhibitions. These are sounds of great enjoyment that are not checked and get louder and continue. There is a metaphor in line 10 and 11. The laughter of old folks is compared to a liquid being poured into a container and then spilling over the edges of the container. The image that is created is one of excess, emphasizing the exuberance of the laughing. Line 12 characterizes the effect of all people laughing exuberantly and naturally. They free the world. This hyperbolic statement suggests that people can be shown how to express themselves with no one really caring. This statement is an example of metonymy. The population of the world is referred to by the mention of the planet as a whole. The implication is that socially acceptable and polite behavior is irrelevant in the face of being able to laugh so freely. In line 13, Angelo describes how old people turn slowly. It seems as though they are looking around at the effect of their laughter may be having. They are slyly knowing, sneakily aware that we all have to deal with all types of memories. In lines 15 to 19, the writer describes how the old people can no longer control their bodies precisely, and so they have saliva showing and their necks no longer seem able to hold their heads steady. The foundation of all this is the memories of life, though, that they hold firmly and safely to themselves, in the same way a grandparent may hold their beloved grandchildren in their laps. The last 4 lines of the poem make the final statement about old people laughing. It is a way of looking towards what death will offer and lets them make peace with this. The phrase "dear painless death" in line number 23 is almost a form of paradox. Death is the end of life and often widely held to be the enemy of man. Here, it is described as dear, suggests some form of affection for that which will finally offer rest. The laughing is also a way of the old people expressing a final acceptance and understanding of what has happened in life. This poem describes how old people no longer have to control their expressions and worry about things. They are now free to laugh as they wish. They welcome death that will release them. They have made peace with all that has occurred in their lives.